I love Baylor. I love the new parts. I love the old parts. I love Waco. It's been a part of my life since before I can even remember. But college is really hard. And for someone struggling with mental illness, it can be a hellhole. I wanted to understand the withdrawal process and what that means for people with mental health issues. This is Dr. Emma Wood. She's a licensed psychologist working in the greater Waco area and has helped multiple students go through the withdrawal process.
Withdrawing from a university is complex. There are lots of different areas involved, not only academics, but then scholarships, financial aid, those sorts of things. And that's just the logistics. It doesn't take into consideration any sort of trauma that the student's going through. Sometimes the student can't do it themselves, particularly if they're struggling with mental illness. Emotionally, I often will coach people through the process, but I would say within the last year or so, I have had a number of students who were leaving school to go to inpatient care. It's not just the academics that were crumbling, it's basically their lives crumbling around them, and have had to assist directly in making phone calls with them there. It has gone okay at times, and then at other times those phone calls have been very curt.
It was good to hear from Emma, but I also wanted to get a student's perspective. So I called somebody who I knew had gone through the process herself.
Hi, Sophia?
Hi. I think it really helped probably that I was just keeping in touch. It's just you shouldn't be in college when you're in that kind of state. And so when you are trying to wrestle with OLA to get accommodations and you're trying as hard as you can to get through the semester, even though you really shouldn't be there in general, it's hard for them to see depression as a reason to grant you accommodations.
Okay.
It's just that I was following up with OALA continuously. I was following up with my professors continuously. And so I feel like I know that it's hard to do that for anyone. It's really hard to just keep saying what you're going through and make sure they know, because it's hard to talk about. And so I think that it is hard for Baylor to grant that sort of thing to someone who is just now saying it. You know what I'm saying?
I enjoyed hearing from both Sophia and Emma, but I also wanted to get the voice of someone who works at Baylor and who has extensive knowledge of the system. This is Lily. She runs the BARC on Baylor's campus and has walked many students through the process of withdrawing.
There's a checklist that we all have that staff that you can actually Google, and it'll show up for students too, of the steps that they need to take. But I can't actually take any of those steps for a student. But the university does want to see, have we followed every step before we can withdraw? And sometimes students have done that, and not in the order that maybe the university particularly prefers. And that can make things difficult. There's not a centralized website. You have to click around to find all these different websites to figure out what does this mean financially. You still have to go talk to people. It's not written out anywhere. And for people who are overwhelmed and anxiety or want to have someone help them, like a parent, not having the information available online can definitely be another factor in that process that just makes it more difficult. By the time you finally worked up the courage to say, I'm going to go seek help, it just makes that process a lot harder. It can work really well, just sometimes if someone does something outside of the right order, which can be really hard to figure out sometimes. Yeah, this is not something that people are I'm going to withdraw before lunch. No one takes the process lightly, because it's big, it's scary. No one's parents really want them to withdraw until they're already here packing them up against their will. Nobody really wants to withdraw. That it's not a great feeling.
The feeling that I got from both Sophia and Lily is that the system seems to work, but it doesn't offer the steps and the help, perhaps, that it could be. So like most things in life, it's complicated. Things aren't easy, but the sooner you can get into the system, it seems, the better. So if you're struggling, the best way to deal with it is to apply early. Let people know what's going on.